Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are three guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy! Hey, this is Ages of Rock podcast, and I am your host, Alan Tate.
Bill Algie.
And Dennis Talbot. Hey, we're here this week. We got a great topic for you. It's going to be, let me put this in perspective. We are, like I said, we're all the age of around 50. So we're going to go.
Not me.
Okay. We're going to give you those few years. But what we're going to talk about tonight is anybody who knows the internet all their life. This is going to be like almost like instead of being BC, this is going to be BI, before internet. Before instant access to anything, we had to watch things on TV, which were basically even before cable for some of us. But we're talking about the effects of video music on our lives and how we chose bands and what it caused us to like certain bands up to the MTV era, you know. And like I said, now everybody has instant access to everything, which, yeah, I got a new wire.
Dennis is going to choke himself on his hearing aids.
I got a new computer, so bear with me. But anyway, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about all the great old video channels that we had to watch in our young days, such as Don Kirshner's Rock Concert, the Midnight Special, even Saturday Night Live, because they had live guests, which a lot of channels didn't, up through Night Flight, Nightflix. I think there was one called Nightflix on cable, and then up till 82 was when MTV came out. So we'll go through there, and then what effects it had on us, and seeing a band and not just hearing it, and our choices on buying music. But before we do that, we had some catch up from last week. You guys want to jump in there on that?
Well, it occurred to me last week after we finished recording the episode that we never discussed if the three of us could get along with our music picks at the end of our 5 Desert Island albums. So, for me personally, I liked all of your guys' picks, even though there was a couple of them. Well, there was one from Bill that I wasn't familiar with, the Christian artist.
Yeah, Sidewalk Prophets.
The Sidewalk Prophets. But, yeah. Everything that you guys picked, I thought were great. I think we could get along just fine. You guys just need to suck it up and dig some Guns N' Roses because we got a reunion coming.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll drive you to the show. I'll drop you off. I'll pick your drunk self up.
Actually, I would actually go into the show, Bill. You can sit by yourself. I want to go see it just to see what kind of fiasco it might be. Yeah. Being that I know that Slash is, everybody's pretty well got their stuff straight. I know Duff's straight, Slash is straight, but you can quit drinking, but you can't stop being crazy. So I think that Axl will still be Axl.
I saw Axl on a thing on Access TV last summer, and it just was bad. I mean, he's just bad. I mean, he weighs 5,000 pounds. I don't know, something like that. I don't know what he weighs. And and I'm not saying anything. I have nothing against people that are overweight, because trust me. But he sounded horrible. He looked horrible. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't think I'm going to waste it.
I waited over 10 years for Chinese Democracy, and you know what? It wasn't all that. When I finally got it, I was like, really? This is what I waited for.
But that would be a band, though, that if they came and they said, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to tour on Appetite for Destruction. We're going to do the whole album. That might not be a bad gig, because that album was really pretty good.
We'll do that, and a couple from Use Your Illusion, the big ones.
No, other than that, I don't know. That'll be one of those kind of things. We'll see if they can make it past the third show. Before that,
when the venue has a shutdown time of midnight and Axl decides at 11:30 he's ready to go.
Yeah, and you know what? The first time that happens, if I was Slash, the first time that happened,
I'd be saying, no,
that'd be it. I'd be good. Okay, we're done. Actually, I'd put that in the contract.
I was going to say the same thing.
If you the first time you show up late, your butt is kicked out, and
you almost need somebody like and you almost need somebody like Doc McGee to be a wrangler because he's been done that with Kiss. He kept them together for a while. He's done it with Motley Crue. He's kind of he keeps these a bunch of people who can't stay together, keeps them together.
Yeah, there's another podcast that we listened to. Alan and I listened to this weekend. It talked about Doc had the opportunity to manage.
Oh, really? I need to watch that.
GNR, and he said he already had 3 heroin addicts, so he really didn't need it. From another band he was managing at that time. So yeah, you need to listen to that. It's really good.
I will.
Good stuff on there. From me, I liked all you guys' stuff. I think it'd be fine. The Appetite for Destruction thing is not a problem at all for me. So I think it'd be great. It'd be fun. We'd be all right. Yeah, none of us picked like chick singers though. I don't know if that's going to be a problem, but probably should have thrown a Joan Jett in there.
I was going to say if I was going to pick a female singer, it would be either Joan Jett or Pat Benatar.
Pat Benatar, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Okay.
But no, as far as me, like I said, with you guys' albums, I have no problem with it. Even with the GNR, it was more of an overreaction. But there again, Saturday night I played, Sweet Child, and I kind of had a little smirk on my face, going, "Yeah, I just talked about this last week." I mean, we constantly, and people, they just lose their mind when you play it. I did. Bill reminded me of the Doc, and that was one of that slipped my mind. Lock and Key. I had that cassette years ago. And I went back and listened to it on Spotify. Great album. I still like Tooth and Nail a little bit better. Mm-hmm. And then your Sidewalk Prophets. I actually listened to. I turned it on the other day. It is on Spotify. I should get a little kickback for that because I do mention Spotify a lot.
When you can get Spotify to start sending us some cash, you can keep saying it. Otherwise, you just need to say that music thing. I guess I don't know.
My music thing that I listen to from now on, that will be the cover for Spotify. Okay. But anyway, I did listen to it on my phone the other day. I pulled it up and they were on there. They had that album plus I think there's 2 or 3 more albums that they have. Put it on, listened to it on the way home. Actually, I didn't get a chance to listen to the whole thing because I didn't want to skip through songs. So I just started at song 1 and went to it. Very well produced album. Very commercial. I mean, I could see where all that stuff can be really could be on a commercial station because it's just very well done, and it's just not in that vein to where it's Stryper. They were in that thing where everything's like God, this Jesus, This here is more of and like you said, it's more of a feel good. I mean, it has a religious undertone or overtone to it, but it's not just out there just throwing it. Yeah, right. It's more of thinking about things and being nicer to people. I mean, I think I could really like it. I just got to give it a little bit more time to listen to it. But I appreciate you bringing it up because that's something I do. I love to find new music. That's my whole purpose of this whole podcast is people listen to it and it's like, hey, I've never heard of those guys. And we'll talk about something that's going to happen later on this week at the end of the show. And but it's going to be another one of those situations. But I'll stop at that point. More teasers.
There you go. It's a show of teasers. All right, so
go.
All right, so I wanted to spend a few minutes just talking about the incident in Paris last week. Really, from a perspective of how it affected, from a musical perspective. The band Eagles of Death Metal is an American band that happened to be over there. So the show was sold out, 1,500 seat theater, so not a huge place, but not a small place. And some very bad people got in there and did some bad stuff. So just something that you want to keep all those people in Paris, their families, the band. I mean, the band will live with that forever. Just kind of in our thoughts and prayers. I think that's really important. It's interesting. There's been a few of those things that have happened over time. Back in the late 70s, I guess it was when the Who had the issue in Cincinnati that there was a trampling that occurred because they had when they still had festival seating. May have been in the 80s, I can't remember exactly, but that was a big deal that occurred. And then the latest one in America that I can really remember that was big was the Great White Tragedy in Rhode Island at the station where a sparkling spinner set off some very non-fire retardant material that was on the ceiling of that venue and lit it up pretty good. Killed a bunch of people and hurt some others. Interesting thing about that, I was in an airport the following day when they were actually showing that, me and a buddy, and we had tickets to see Cheap Trick that night at the House of Blues in New Orleans. So it was 24 hours later, we were standing in a venue, and literally both of us talked about looking for the exits, just because it was so real that you just didn't know. And people all seemed to be a little funky that night. I mean, it was just kind of weird. They made Robin Zander made a comment about it during the show too. And so it's just, those things happen, but it's something that you just need to be aware of and kind of forget how vulnerable we really are and all that kind of stuff whenever, bad things, things go wrong. So anyway, didn't want to bring everybody down, but definitely wanted to, raise awareness of that. I think that's something important that we all need to be aware of. So that's it for me on the on that side of it. So
I do remember after that happened, though, I was like you. I went to some small clubs afterwards, and that was the first thing that I always kind of did was look for where are the exit doors. I mean, it's just, and that's kind of good to know. I mean, you never know what's going to happen, and
yeah, I posted something on our Ages of Rock podcast Facebook page too. That's an article with Jack Russell talking about how he's suffering from some depression, because of being a survivor of that tragedy. But he also talked about some of the things he can actually talk now because the time has passed that really didn't get out before, like the doors that were locked that were supposed to be unlocked and were marked a certain way and they opened the wrong way, and there's some other stuff. So if you get a chance to read the article, it's a pretty good snippet, and I guess there's going to be a video that comes out at some point about it with an interview with him, so it'll be interesting to see. But all right, there you go. So anything else from the week of rock that we got?
Well, I mentioned earlier that there's a bunch of scuttlebutt going on, that there's supposed to be a Guns N' Roses reunion coming up. Excuse me. I've heard, on one hand, it's going to be the original 5 members from the Appetite for Destruction lineup. But I've also heard from sources supposedly close to the Guns N' Roses camp that it's going to be Axl, Slash, Duff, and 2 other guys. So I don't know.
So what they're not bringing? What they were bringing Izzy back?
Yeah, well, Izzy kind of walked away from it the first time, and I don't know. I think that they may be having trouble getting him to come back into the fold. I'm not really sure. Yeah, it's all speculation at this point anyway. It's fun speculation.
But was Izzy on the? But because I'm not. I mean, obviously, I like Guns N' Roses, but I wasn't a huge follower on that. Was Izzy original guitar player on that and on that album?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you had
Steven Adler on drums.
Steven Adler. Steven's kind of. He's been going out. He can stay. I think he can stay sober long. If you pay that guy enough money and you get him a handler, I think he does play drums well. I mean, at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
It was him, Slash,
Duff.
Miles Kennedy, and Duff, Miles Kennedy, and somebody else. And I tell you what, they tore it up. I mean, it sounded good. And he's still got the chops. You just got to keep him sober. And he goes through his seasons of wherever. He'll have a good season, and he's real good, and then he has a bad season. So
yeah,
catch him on a good season, he would be. But it would be really good to see the original lineup. I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, when you see a reunion or something like that, you want to see everybody.
That's one of those situations where there's too much money on the table to pass up.
Right, exactly.
The only other band that I've ever seen that keeps turning down that much money is Zeppelin. But John Bonham is dead, so I mean, even though you've got Jason Baum that would take his place, I don't know.
You know why that's not happening though, don't you? Robert Plant can't sing
those high notes,
and he knows that, and he doesn't want to go out. He doesn't want to be Paul Stanley. Sorry. Sorry.
He doesn't want to stay too late at the party.
Exactly. I mean, people know him for what he did, and they have great memories from him. Don't take those memories, and the last thing you see of him is him trying to do something that he can't do.
Yeah.
That's ruined that for me for a bunch of people. Anyway. So
Yeah, and some other news too. We found out too that there are some Kiss dates out there for 2016. I mean, it's Germany in the spring, and looks like August, September, October, sometime. Some dates in the States. So,
which one of you guys posted the Black Sabbath things for next year in 2006?
Me. I mean,
how do they know anybody's going to be alive in 2000?
That's my point. I mean, half that band could be dead before they ever get to the first show. I mean,
okay, we got NSYNC tickets for 2058. You going to buy them? So anyway,
yeah, the One Direction guys already went. This is just too much. He said, "We're finished."
2042's all I'm going to go to.
I can't do it anymore. I can't make it to 2016. This is horrible. All right, so let's talk about our topic for this week.
Sure. So getting back to it, basically, like I said, it was basically the impact of. I mean, you guys are all did what we did. We watched, like I said, Don Kirshner rock concert came on Friday nights, I believe. Now it could have been on a different station because I know I watched everything from Channel 3 out of Louisville, Kentucky, actually, and WABE. And they had Don Kirshner, and it was on at midnight on Friday nights. Then they had Saturday Night Live on Saturday night. And then right after Saturday Night Live, then it was the Midnight Special. And then that's how we watched things. And like I said, we would stay up. And like I said, we lived in the country where we didn't have cable. So we were, we had this big aerial outside. And, if it was cold outside or snowing, you'd set up a relay. Somebody would watch the television. Somebody would stand in the hallway, and somebody would go out and turn the aerial. And it'd be like, okay, turn it. Okay, I can see something. Now we'll have to stop. And turn back and turn this. And it was, and the thing was, coming from that deal, you never seen a perfect, like, cable TV like you watch it now. So, kids, when you're watching stuff now, be thankful. Because there was times where it would roll, and times where it would fuzz out and fuzz in, and you'd have waves, and sometimes it's black and white, sometimes color. You just try to get sound to come out, and then you would work from there and get the best picture you could do. So it wasn't never perfect. And but the whole thing was, you seen acts on there, and you seen people that were not on, because like I said, other than magazines that I got, 16 magazine through Hit Parader, through at the time that anything Kiss was in, but there would be other bands. That was the only news that I got. We didn't have internet, we didn't have any, MTV at that time with the the music news. So you would watch these things and you go, oh, there's a band, and it's like, okay, and we'll watch this. They'd show a video, or even with Don Kirshner. Don Kirshner was all video. Midnight Special actually had live. They had, I guess, a studio. Mm-hmm. They would do live stuff, and they would also do video, because I know that's where I've seen some Kiss would always do like videos on there.
But it was all, even on TV, the quality of it was really not very good. I mean, it was just really, it was
low budget.
It was low budget. Yeah, very low budget, and just grainy, and just kind of not that great. But it definitely was our first, definitely at least some of my first introduction to some bands that I'd never seen before, and bands you never heard of again because they were on there and then gone. So
I remember,
but there was a lot of bands. I mean, and I did a little research too, so I looked around and saw that I didn't realize how long. So Don Kirshner started in 1973, and
wow.
And was and their last show was in 1981, okay. Which I had no idea it had lasted that long. So it must have fallen off some. But there were about 100, and I think I tried to count it, 135 bands that were on there over those years.
Wow.
And there was everything. I mean, there was ABBA. It was everybody.
Everything, like Saturday Night Live was like, I remember Don Kirshner was always, okay, tonight we're going to have Earth, Wind, and Fire. Don had an odd way to talk, but they did. They had. I mean, they go from one night they would have Kiss, Barbara Streisand,
And Lou Rawls.
yeah, it was just all over the place. There was no like, this is rock night. It was nothing. It was, Linda Ronstadt, Styx, and some Conway Twitty. Whatever. It was crazy the lineup they had.
Yeah. What about you, Alan? Did you so were you in Kentucky at the time?
Yep.
Yep. So did Hee Haw? Did they just have Hee Haw, or did they have other stuff?
Pretty much.
I watched Hee Haw.
I've been waiting all day.
Oh.
I was talking to my dad earlier. My dad goes, "Is it one of those guys from like Kentucky?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, Did he just watch Hee Haw? And I said, I am so bringing that up.
Well,
when you said that, Bill, there should have been like a board to come up behind you and hit you in the butt.
oh, that was.
Now, see, I watched it. I actually.
Oh my gosh.
Oh shit!
All right, I'm sorry.
Oh, that was great. That was great. I'm
Sorry,
gonna
Buck.
get you.
I didn't
I'm
mean
gonna
to
get
but
you. What we did. Hee Haw was it was very important on Saturday night. And I think after Hee Haw was over, we had the Donnie and Marie show. Don't forget that. The Sonny and Cher show.
Yep, Sonny and Cher. Yep.
Oh yeah.
We didn't get cable in my hometown probably until 1986 or 87 maybe.
Oh wow.
And so I don't even think MTV came as part of the cable package that we got. So what we got to watch was, I don't remember ever seeing the Midnight Special or the Don Kirshner. There was a Friday Night Videos
Right.
that was like on USA or...
Right. Wasn't that called Night Flight?
Well, there was two different ones.
That was two different ones. Okay.
Different shows.
Yeah.
I was talking to my friend last night, and I mentioned Night. I thought it was called Night Flicks. He goes, no, it was Night Flight.
Yeah.
So then but there was a Friday Night Videos. I forgot about that also,
Yeah, no, Night Flight was on the USA Network, I think.
Was that US? Okay.
I think that was USA Network, and it seems to me like Friday Night Videos was on NBC.
Yeah, it was on one of the NBC or ABC or something like that.
Because I watched that before we got cable.
Gotcha.
And then I think for a lot of us that was the first time you visually got to see bands. I mean, there wasn't any other way to see.
I remember my mom would sit up with me to watch these shows, because we'd always sit up late. My dad worked at Alcoa a lot, so he worked night shift quite a bit. And Mom would stay up and we'd watch these things. And I remember watching. I don't know if there was two things. I remember when Queen came on, and he had that black and white checkered. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
We Are the Champion video. After that, that's when I got News of the World and Night at the Opera. Those two albums, I got them for Easter. Actually, my mom bought them, or Dad got them for me for Easter. And then I was a Queen fan from that point. But I remember watching that one night, and there's this guy on there, and Mom's like going, "He's a pretty dirty looking guy." And it was John Cougar at the time. There's some video, and at the time I was like, "Who is this guy?" And he's kind of scummy looking. Of course, he's from Seymour, so he's. I'm sorry, you're closer to Seymour.
But that was when he was John Cougar, and his music was really pretty good, and he became John Mellencamp and decided that he needed to save the world. And I really have no. I've been listening to what's it called, American Fool, and the album, and then after that I quit. I didn't, that was it for me. Those two albums and the first album are the only thing because I couldn't stand it after that.
Still on his
Scarecrow that's when we started saving the world, and that was it for me.
There's a couple good songs off Scarecrow, but
there are a couple, but
but like you said, that's when he started Farm Aid and all that crap, and then
I don't have a problem with that, but it became everything was about to me that was the same thing as U2. I have a buddy of mine that is a big U2 fan. I have no desire to see U2. It's just,
and the thing is, I love U2's earlier stuff. Yeah, that was some of the stuff that we saw on MTV. And that was we'll get to that in a minute, but but back then they were this poor. But once they got that, he started thinking he had a
save the world.
He had to save the world. I'm done. It's like, really. Your sunglasses could probably feed 3 kids for a year.
Sunglasses cost more than my new car.
Exactly.
So I have a question for you guys real quick.
Okay.
Okay,
Um,
sure.
Before you saw Tom Petty do anything other than "Don't Come Around Here No More," did you think he
Right.
always wore that big top hat? You remember he wore
No.
the Mad Hatter outfit and the Alice
Yeah,
in
I remember
Wonderland?
that.
Right.
Yeah, one of the
I've never.
I saw him in an interview, and that was his one beef was everybody thought he always wore that top hat.
No. That was just for that video. I mean, hell, that refugee. Remember that old video for refugee?
That's
and some
my
of the
favorite
churches?
Tom Petty song. That's what got me into Tom Petty. The
Really? Yeah. No, that was
Refugee, yeah.
right. But no, that was where they were kind of driving around out in the desert, and they had these little funky looking cars. And remember that they come up to this like little deserted bar or something. Wasn't that, no, that wasn't refugee. That was what the hell was that song? But it was one of those earliest songs. But yeah, refugee is another great song. What the hell was that? Though?
Anyway, look that up later.
I didn't realize
Crowd
that
surfing.
Back to the video shows.
Yeah, so let's see. I took a little bit of time and looked up a couple things. So I don't know if you guys care about this stuff, but Midnight Special.
I'm glad you did because we're just flying off the cuff.
Yeah, we were kind of flying by the seat of our pants, which is kind of the fun part of the show. So, Midnight Special was on from 1973 to 1981 as well. So I thought that was kind of weird. I didn't realize that and Don Kirshner they were right there together. I didn't realize how close they were.
That's 81, and starting into 82 is when MTV started. So I wonder if they just figured at that point that they were going to be obsolete.
I think they just didn't hang on long enough.
They should have, because
they just gave up too quickly, I guess. So we've obviously missed the biggest show with musical acts on it. You guys think about the biggest show with musical acts.
Well, American Bandstand.
Oh, okay, there you go. Fine.
And Sullivan.
But they lip synced.
Ed Sullivan.
But see, well, the truth. No, Ed Sullivan. There you go. But no, the thing about Midnight Special was that shit was live. Most of it that they were on stage was not lip synced. See, everything on American Bandstand was lip synced.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between that show. I don't consider American Bandstand I consider Saturday Night Live more of a music show than I do Dick Clark, because of the fact of that, they didn't lip sync except for if Milli Vanilli was on there. But
so if you're on the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, is that lip sync or is that live? I'm not really sure.
Well, that's
You
train
really
wreck,
know?
that is.
Let's ask Paul. Ask Paul about that.
Yeah. All right. So, Soul Train. That was another one.
Oh yeah, I never thought about that.
I used to watch Soul Train.
Yeah.
Actually, and it just ended in 2006.
Really? It was.
And in 2015, they still have the BET Soul Train Awards.
Wow. Was his name Don Cornelius?
Yeah, Don Cornelius.
Yeah. See, I did watch it. See, I remember.
He had that real low baritone voice.
Yeah, how's it going?
It's pretty cool. They had some great stuff on there. Music's music, whatever it was. But, you're talking about Saturday Night Live, so I looked in. The internet's awesome, even though we're not talking about the internet today. But they've had a ton of bands on there. I mean,
that's why I included them.
And some great bands like the Sugar Cubes, because they were absolutely disappeared after the one thing. And another band that the Notting Hillbillies, that was another band I thought was just a stellar band to have on Saturday Night Live.
Should they have been on Hee Haw?
No, it's I was on the Saturday Night Live Wikipedia site, so I think it was pretty. But
now,
there was some really cool.
I said that they had music didn't mean that they had good music.
That's true.
They had live music.
Some cool stuff on there. I mean, looking back, I really didn't realize. I mean, John Cougar's been on there probably 3 or 4 times. I didn't realize that. So, but Frank Zappa was on there.
Yep.
Which that'd be cool.
And you know what he did? You know what song he did?
I do not know.
He did. God damn it.
What album is that on?
By God, I'm going to tell you.
It's the disco thing.
Sort of, if I can think of it.
Oh, I got it right here.
All right.
I'll think of it here in a second.
All right, if you think of it. So, Cheap Trick was on there.
Yep.
Queen. I don't remember Queen being on there. Rod Stewart.
They did Crazy Little Thing Called Love.
Oh, there you go. We got one.
It was during the games when they were on there. It was actually a later date.
Huh. All right. Rod Stewart was on there a couple times, and then I noticed that Desmond Child.
Really?
For those of you that don't know, I mean, people on this show know, but
We
those
know.
of you that don't know, was a big writer for Kiss, co-wrote a lot of songs for Kiss, and his band called Rogue was on there at one
Rogue,
point.
never even.
Yeah, which is I saw that, I was like, well, some of those names stick out for us people that are a little bit
Huh.
on the edge of knowing a little too much about certain bands. So I thought that was pretty cool. There was a lot of really neat stuff on there.
No kidding.
Check it out. I mean, that's some cool stuff.
And they have, I think during that 40, I tell you what, if you caught that anniversary show that they just had this last year on Saturday Night Live, they had a whole about a 10-minute section of little clips of songs that of people that's played there, and like I said, you'll see all kinds of people. Because there was really something interesting. There's been actually three bands I think banned from there too. There was some rap band, and I guess they were smoking weed on stage, and they were banned forever. Elvis Costello, he was supposed to play a certain song, and he got started on it, stopped, and played another one that he was not supposed to play on there, and he got banned from there.
Huh.
And somebody else, I can't remember who it was. I remember reading about
O'Connor?
that. Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
No, that was not good either.
No, that about did her career in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's the band that has never been on there. That's actually from New York.
Yeah, no kidding. That should have been. But they did a skit about them though.
They did a skit about Kiss, but they've never been on the show.
They've never been. And I find that, like I said, being that they're a New York band, you think that they would have been on there at some point. Because
they were on ABC's Fridays. Well,
and Peter and Ace were really good friends with John Belushi at that time when they did that skit.
Yeah, I mean
they were huge fans plus friends. I'm surprised that never got on.
It's just weird. I think that's probably about the only thing Kiss hasn't done.
Yeah,
I mean they've been on a lot of different. I don't know if they've been on Soul Train, but they might have been. I would think they might have been on there for that. I really don't know. I have no idea. So it's highly possible. But I don't know. So thinking about like Sonny and Cher, you were talking about Sonny and Cher. I went to see Cher last year, and one of the segments that she did during her show, you can laugh, I don't care, whatever.
Sorry.
So you're going to go see Barry Manilow when you went to Vegas. So I want to go see Cher. Lisa wouldn't go, so we went to see Andy. But see her Andy. But she did a thing from the Sonny and Cher show where they sang oh crud. Oh God, Dennis.
It's catching, isn't it?
It is. Okay, the one famous song that Sonny and Cher does that I cannot, the name escapes me at this moment.
I've got you, babe.
Yeah, I Got You, Babe. So they did I Got You, Babe.
That's
but
the only song I know.
They did it from the it was a black and white video.
Oh,
it was really cool.
Kind of an inner.
They did it. And so it looked like they were singing it together, but obviously he wasn't singing because he's not here. But that was pretty cool. But yeah, and I was thinking about another live thing I was thinking about too was there was a Saturday morning cartoon show that had live bands on it too, but I don't remember.
People too, and Kiss.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
I seen that one. That's when Eric Carr first joined up.
That's right.
They introduced Eric Carr on that show.
Yeah.
And they even asked the question, "What happened to Peter?" And Ace's answer was, "He married a Playboy playmate, and he wanted time off." In front of a bunch of kids.
I forgot about that.
I was going, even as a kid, I knew that wasn't appropriate.
Jeez, Pete.
And why did Ace get quit? Or they don't want him back again? Why is that?
That's just bizarre. A little bit crazy.
But anyway, like I said, it was a matter of we've seen all this stuff. And like I said, as kids, and we grew up, and like I said, it made a great big impact. It made me choose a lot of the bands that I bought albums for because, you hear Queen, as me, I could have, I heard Queen on the radio, but I really didn't get to see them till I saw them on, like I said, on Don Kirshner and the videos, and I'm like, man, that's really cool because they're theatrical. I always like the theatrical part of the stuff. That's why I was drawn to Kiss. That was why I was drawn to Alice Cooper. That's why I like Queen. I just like over the top kind of that and good music, and then that's like I said, there was another band that I saw in there a long time ago, and unbeknownst to me, I didn't know that they were produced by Kiss at that point, but there was a band called New England, and they had a song out called "Don't Ever Want to Lose You," and they used to play that on. It was a video on Don Kirshner. Loved that. So, loved that song. Bought that album. Then ended up looking at the backside of it, going, produced by Paul Stanley. At the time I couldn't look it up on the internet, but then I finally learned through magazine stuff that that was one of his pet projects. And but New England is a great that album. That was actually going to be one of my albums I was going to take to the island because it's a really good album. But then I thought I digressed.
Well, so we haven't talked about MTV.
That's what I was getting to now.
So
Well, before we get to MTV, you mentioned Alice Cooper, and then it reminded me the Muppets always had musical guests.
Oh, that's true. The Muppets did.
I remember seeing Elton John on there. I remember seeing Alice Cooper on there, and I don't know who else would have been on there. Those are the two that stood out for me from all of those many, many years ago.
Yeah, I remember the Alice Cooper one being on there.
Yeah, and MTV just changed everything.
Well, I moved to Evansville. I know MTV started way before I got to Evansville. Well, it started about a year before, I guess. But, we didn't have access to cable at that time. I moved to Evansville in June of 1983. And I remember our apartment wasn't ready yet. So I had a couple of weeks. I was going to stay at a friend's apartment there in Evansville on the east side. And I was going to sleep on the couch for a couple of weeks. Come down here to find a job and get ready to go to school. And I remember walking in and they had the TV on. There was this video, and I'm like going, "Oh, what channel is this? Or what is this?" He goes, "It's MTV." And I go, "Oh, really? They got videos? Is it a video show?" "Oh, no, they show video 24 hours a day." I'm like, "You're kidding me? Like today?" And they go, "No, it's every day." And I'm like, "You're kidding me." Dude, I sit on that couch and I watched that shit all night. I mean, till the next morning. They got up and they're like going, "You're still watching this?" I'm going, "Yep." It's the greatest thing I've ever seen. And I mean, I was like, holy crap. I mean, but there again, then I saw things that I'd never, bands that I'd never even heard of, bands I'd never even seen, videos that I'd never seen of bands that I knew of. I mean, it was like, oh my God, and that at that time there was very little talk, no extra reality shows. It was just videos.
Yeah. And then they had the ultimate video show that was on at night.
Headbangers Ball.
Headbangers Ball.
Exactly. Which was awesome.
You know what? That's on Metal Mania, I think is what's on VH1.
I watch that sometimes. It's on like at the middle of the night. And sometimes I get home from gigs, it'll be on and I'll tape it on VH1.
It'll be on, sometimes it's on Sunday mornings and I'll flip the TV on and it's on.
Actually, it's VH1 Classics.
VH1 Classics. Yeah.
Which is the only channel I know that still plays videos. I mean, they have a few reality shows, but they actually, VH1 Classics, other than VH1 and MTV, they actually play videos.
Well, I think even the VH1 shows are music shows. They're not like.
I think they're more reality.
Well, the one rock show that's on there with the three guys and the very opinionated gentleman that is the host of that show.
I don't know. I don't watch it, so
yeah. So that's one of the shows. Anyway, all right. So, but MTV for me was the big thing. I mean, I watched that constantly, and I loved watching the videos, and it turned me on to all kinds of music, and the videos were cool. I mean, they were the amount of money that was spent on videos, and that's how they pushed records and stuff at the time was phenomenal. And every week there was somebody new on there, and that was when things just started exploding, and all of a sudden there was this 2 or 3 years of just nonstop acts coming out, and then it just died, and then it became oversaturated. Sorry,
video killed the radio star.
Video killed the radio star,
and then MTV made it hard for ugly people to make music.
Unless your hair was teased up this high and wore makeup.
Now everybody knows that was the first video on MTV. What was the second video on MTV?
It doesn't matter.
Pat Benatar. Love is a Battlefield.
What's that?
It was Pat Benatar.
It was Pat Benatar.
I was going to say Love is a Battlefield, but that does not sound right.
That sounds right. It wasn't it?
Love is a Battlefield was later on.
Hell's for Children.
No.
We Belong.
Treat Me Right.
Treat me right. Oh, okay.
When she's
on
Pat
that Benatar,
tight,
that's all I care about.
Tight black pants with the little striped shirt. Yeah, that's all you got to know.
Yep.
But no, it was one of those things where, and the thing was, when that's the earlier bands of the hair metal, which that'll be another topic at some point. Motley Crue, I mean, they cashed in on that. I mean, bands like that, MTV, if it wouldn't have been for MTV, I don't think hair metal would even survived or even took off. I think
MTV, it's very visual.
MTV made that. I mean, it was big in, like, say, out in LA. It was a scene for them, but I don't think it would have took off as much as it did without MTV.
Yeah,
MTV was the carrier and the catalyst for the hair metal movement. Period. And without it, I don't think it would have came to Indiana. I don't think we would have even known about it, to be honest.
Well, it would have been 2 or 3 years later, which is what had been happening, So, then, I mean, that's just how it worked, right? So it starts on the West Coast and it takes a while to get here.
Right, but at that time, it would have been over by the time they got here. It would have been done. I don't think, but with MTV, everybody's seen it at the same time, and they were putting videos out. I mean, did you see the first time Thriller came out? Was you there ready to see it?
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I did too. We all did. I mean, it's one of those things where, I'm not a big Michael Jackson fan, but you know what? I was ready to watch Thriller when it came on.
Yeah, there was a lot of. I mean, there were a lot of great acts during that time. But I remember, and then they did the Unplugged series, which was really pretty cool. I mean, that was pretty neat.
You know what the catalyst for that was?
Bon Jovi. What?
Exactly. That was John Bon Jovi and Ricky Sambora doing Wanted Dead or Alive acoustically. They did it. Was it on an award show they did it, I believe?
Yeah, I think it was on American Music Awards or something.
And they said, "You're stupid for doing it this way." And they said, "No, we want to do it this way." And they did it, and it was just such a big hit. That's why MTV just jumped on it and said, "We're going to do it." Actually, it was the MTV Awards.
Oh, yeah, could have been.
That they did it. And they told them that you need to do the whole band. They said, "No, we're going to try it this way." Well, they made a whole show out of it. And anyway.
Yeah. All right, fellas.
All right. But there's a whole lot to say about the thing, but it's just, I just think it in my own opinion, it made a lot of impression on me, those shows, being able to see them live. The kids nowadays, I mean, I don't even know how they even, you've got so much choice, you got everything's at your fingertips. So it's almost, you know what I'm saying? It's almost too much of an overload to find a favorite band or this and that. You know what I'm saying? Because back then you had to really follow stuff. Like with us, you had to dig in. You had to do research. You had to do this. You had to, go out and borrow this and borrow that. And now it's like going, okay, I like this band. I got everything on my fingertips at my computer. I got everything, there is.
But I was in an outlet. I mean, an antique mall this weekend, and we're cruising, just looking at stuff, killing time on a Sunday to get out and do something. And there was just a couple of booths that just had just a ton of LPs in 45, just a ton of them. So I stood there and looked through some of them, and it really dawned on me how much I missed the artwork.
Oh,
of an album, and even as we're talking about, the concert experience or live experience on TV, even that visual getting to see, because you really just don't see bands that much anymore performing on TV. They just don't do it that much. And if they do, it's some over the top, ridiculous thing that just, you can't even hardly watch it because it's just way too much. Right. I just really realized, I even actually told Lisa when we were walking around, I said, holding that album and looking at the cover and pulling the sleeve out and seeing the, the information on the sleeve and the words of the songs and stuff like that. That's kind of cool. I just missed that stuff. So, I don't know. If maybe sometime I'll get my my turntable back out and try to figure out how to get it reconnected and start whipping off some albums again. Because I have to buy used ones because I can't afford new ones because they're like $45 or something stupid.
Used ones have went up in price.
Ridiculous amount.
But I'm like you. Nowadays if I buy an album, you go to iTunes and you press one button. Okay, I got it. Okay, so I can listen to it. But like I said, back in the day when you bought an album, man, you got it, you looked at it, you picked it out, you got it home, you opened it. That smell of vinyl. I mean, that smell and kids like going, what? It's like, no, there is that smell of brand new vinyl, and you pull that thing out, and not only do you have the artwork, which on a CD, I'm getting older, so I got my bifocals going, doing this shit.
I just hand him to my 14-year-old and go, hey, can you read this for me?
I mean, you had your great artwork, which they spent time on artwork, which they don't do anymore either. You don't see artwork anymore. It's just somebody's picture on the front. And in your back, you read all about it. And the thing was, and then you got the liner notes, you got all your lyrics, and then I would read through, who was their trucking guy, who was this, who was that, who was this. They use this, and we want to thank these people. It was an experience to get an album back then. Now, when you buy something, it's like, oh, okay, I got it.
Well, you used to sit there while the album was playing, and you start reading through the line.
Yeah, you read through it, because that was our thing. This was our video. Instead of watching the video or or doing Wikipedia, this is what you did. You actually, it was called Albumpedia. You just read it.
So, Alan, you're like 5 years younger than we are, right?
Yep.
You're 45.
Yep.
So, other than Heat Hall, what was the difference between?
Well, did you have a lot of albums and stuff like that, or was it what was the experience like for you with that in that whole experience? Because I think you said your first show was in like 1987 or
well, for the most part, I was fortunate enough that I've got an aunt and uncle that are 11 years older than I am. So a lot of my albums were filtered through them. They would get the Beatles, then I would get the Beatles. They would get Kiss, then I would get Kiss. They got Hair of the Dog. They got in trouble with my grandmother. I got Hair of the
Dog. But you got, you were probably by the time you were
the majority
teenager, cassettes were big, wasn't it? Sorry.
Yeah. But the majority of the music that I got was either filtered down from my aunt and uncle, or the record collection that my dad had, because my dad is and was a rocker.
Right.
Borrow.
So what kind of stuff did he have?
Borrow cassettes from my friends, borrow records from my friends, or whatever. We would just trade and dub everything to cassette. My dad listened to everything from ZZ Top, The Guess Who, Earth, Wind and Fire. Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings. He didn't listen to much country, but Willie and Waylon he likes.
Right.
You can't get much more country than those.
No, I didn't say he didn't listen to country. I said
country,
he didn't listen to much country.
Yeah, so that's pretty hardcore country stuff right there.
Yeah.
He's got him covered. What about did he listen to like the Allman Brothers and stuff? Was that something he listened to?
That was not his thing. That is not my thing. I like Skynyrd. I should say I like Skynyrd's innard Skynyrd. I don't like all of the Skynyrd. I'm not big into jam bands.
Yeah.
And to a point, they are a jam band, but they're not as jam band as the Allman Brothers or Warren Haynes. What's his band?
Even what's that? Even like the Grateful Dead. I mean,
they'll go for Grateful Dead's one. Warren
they'll go for an hour. Who gives a shit? What's that other guy? He's like all the dead people are following him now.
Dave Matthews.
Dave Matthews. Oh, Jesus.
No.
Just, no.
Never.
No. Nah.
Government Mule, that's the other jam band I was trying to think of, but they're relatively new compared to the Allman Brothers. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually kind of like Greg Allman. Greg Allman did a solo album that was really pretty good. I liked it. I actually have that album, and I bought that CD and downloaded the MP3s eventually because they were free. So
Annie Bang Cher.
No, that was Dwayne, wasn't it?
that was that was the other.
That was
No,
the
that
other
was
Allman.
Greg. That was Greg Allman.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well, so did Gene.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think the list would be shorter of who Gene did not
Not
vote.
that
I don't think we have enough time on this show to.
Cher's only been with 2 guys, so you know.
Yeah, whatever. Today.
Sonny,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 3, Sonny.
There you go.
But Sonny did dress up like Gene on Love Boat. Remember that?
I don't remember that. Did he?
You do not remember that?
I don't remember that.
There was a thing where Sonny came onto the Love Boat, and he was like this rock star guy, and he wore he even stuck his tongue out, and he had
Yeah,
makeup on,
yeah.
kind of like
Really?
And then-
did he
but-
wear like
but
a
he
white
wanted-
top hat?
Maybe I'm gonna look that up, and I'll send a picture to you guys. I'll text it to you. But the thing was that
just
he
posted on the Facebook page.
But he was. I will. And the thing was that he wasn't. That wasn't his thing. He liked playing piano and being real smooth. And he met some chick on there, so he's like, that was the whole thing. It was just like this. But I was like, the first time I seen it, like going, I'm surprised Gene didn't call him. And go, Love Boat, you need to cease and desist on this. It kind of looks like my makeup. He looked more like King Diamond than he did Gene. But anyway,
Yeah, I remember that
Yeah.
now.
I'll find a picture of that. And I'll
I'll have to
post.
look that up. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Hey, before we get done tonight, are we about done on this?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Where we at, Alan, on time? I didn't even look.
We're about an hour in.
Okay. Something's going to go on this week. Something at the end of the week. Interesting, isn't it? What do you think, guys?
I'm counting down the days.
All right. The 3 of us are going to be going on a road trip. I'm going to call it a bro trip.
It's a research experiment.
It's a research experiment bro trip. We're going to be going to Bloomington, and we're not going to tell you what we're doing in Bloomington, but we're going to meet in Bloomington.
That's Bloomington,
Still-
Indiana.
Bloomington, Indiana, to do a little research for a future upcoming show. The neat thing about the thing is, and for me, we're gonna, Bill's coming from Columbus, and Bill and Al and I are coming from Evansville, Newburgh. But Al and I proposed this to him the other day. He thought it was a pretty good idea. The trip up's about 2 hours, so we're each going to bring a CD of something that each of us hasn't heard that we like ourselves.
Oh, that's cool.
To kind of introduce ourselves to something that's mine's in the car.
I can't see that. What is that?
Oh, you did. You found it. Oh, that's.
Oh my God.
I can't. It's
horrible.
kind of blocky, but post that on the page. Where did you find that?
I just Googled Sonny Bono
Love
Love Boat.
Is it that easy?
That's
Yes,
bad.
It is.
That's
I love the internet.
isn't it awesome? See,
Yes.
we would have waited for months to see that. But anyway, we're going to go up there. But the whole point was, we thought it'd be a good way to introduce each other to new music. I mean, that's what this whole purpose is to get people to listen to new music and maybe discover something they haven't, found. And the thing was, and real quick too, of the days of people that anybody younger who now says, oh, well, you could have taped that and you could have TiVoed it and stuff. Back in the day when we were kids and these shows were on, if you missed it, you missed it. You didn't get to see it again. They showed it one time. That was it. It may have been a repeat at some point down the road, but you made sure you wrote your shit down and you stayed tuned for these shows.
Oh,
But now they've got a lot of these are coming out on DVD. Though I know, like the Midnight Specials.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't
Time
know about
Life.
I don't know about Don Kirshner, but I know Midnight Special. And you can go to YouTube now too. YouTube has a shitload of these videos from the Midnight Special. So just if you want to go to Midnight Special on YouTube, run it, and just watch these. And the thing is, you'll see on these things, these are very, and like Bill said earlier, they're very low budget, no effects, everybody has the same lighting. There's no this, no that, no backgrounds. It's just this stage, kind of like what was the one at Austin City Limits kind of deal.
yeah.
Where there's just a basic, and there's another show that we should have.
Oh
put
yeah,
on.
we should have talked about that.
Never
Yeah.
thought about it, but that was another show, same deal.
That's still on.
That's,
It is,
you beat me
Yeah.
to it.
but that was a showcase for people and their new tunes, and they were playing live. So if they didn't sound good that night, they didn't sound good. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, But we will leave. But look, so we're going to take some pictures and we'll report back. We'll put them on the pages on Friday. We're going to be up for Friday night, staying Friday night, coming back Saturday. So we'll post some things maybe Friday night.
It'll be Saturday night because we'll be recovering from Friday. We are
What are you
old.
I'm pretty sure we can post some stuff on Friday, maybe at the event. We'll post some stuff from the event.
I have to play. I actually have to play Saturday night. So you weenies will go to bed, and I'll have to actually play. Actually, it's an early gig. Thank goodness. I'm done at 11 o'clock.
Oh,
Wow,
that
that's
is
pretty-
another gig.
Well, you don't know what to do with yourself.
It's a corporate gig. I like those gigs.
But the good thing is on Saturday night, or Friday night, we'll get started at 11.
That's true. I don't have to drive. We're going to be there and walking to the hotel. So
Yeah, so that's a good thing.
but we'll fill everybody in because, like I said, this will be a upcoming show that we're doing research for. I think it'll be a good show.
Yep.
And we got some other ideas. A lot of ideas coming down the pike. So it's a matter of. And like I say, if you got some ideas that you want, and I do want to do a shout out to everybody who has watched the show. I noticed we were looking today just on YouTube. We went from under 10 views the first week that we went out, which we expected because nobody knew about it. We had 30 views on our YouTube thing. So, Bill, I'm glad that you watched it 29 times last week. I appreciate that.
Yeah, can you see the number that we've watched? Because I think we've each watched it like 12. So
I've watched it once, and then I listened to it on iTunes. I kind of do, well, I do one of each. That's the way I do it. So, and
yeah.
But anyway, no, I don't expect the numbers to be big now because we're just starting. This would be good shows for people to, once they do discover us, to come back and listen to at a later date. But it's all good, and
Eventually, we'll have thousands and thousands of.
and hopefully the thing is people will have fun and listen to it and laugh a little bit because that's what we're doing. We're having fun.
And when you do watch an episode or you listen to an episode on iTunes or off of the podcast host Libsyn, leave a comment. We've got a couple of comments on our YouTube page so far, so that's pretty cool. We actually had 2 people leave a comment telling us what their top 5 were, and so that's what it's there for. Put your comments to good use. We want to know what everybody has different musical tastes. We know that. We can all help each other expand our horizons, if you will.
Exactly.
All right, boys, that's a wrap.
That sounds like a wrap to me. We'll see you all next week.
All right. Hey, I'll see the 2 of you in a few days. Be ready.
Yes.
Until Friday.
You're going to check. We're going to meet you at the hotel, right?
Don't say that.
Meet you. Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
You sexy dude. You sexy dude.
Yeah, gotta go. See ya. Have a nice night.
Thanks for listening to the Ages of Rock podcast. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and most importantly, tell all your friends. Remember, you're never too old to rock. Until the next episode, peace out, folks.